gonna let you in on when's the best time to save money on food. It's all year. And if you disagree, it's because you're not doing it right. Ooh, I'm starting off feisty today. Hey, you know I'm a ferocious love bug, and I only said it that direct because I care. So in today's Pantry Chat, I'm going to share the produce that needs to be on your shopping list this month, help you plan your meals by showing you some quick dinners, show you how to consistently buy meat for half off, and a whole lot more. You know we always start with the monthly grocery guide, so here it is. In June, you have so many fruits and vegetables that are in season. So when produce is in season, it's more abundant, which means that you'll get that lower price because of its increased supply. So that's why you want to stock up on these items on my list. So the first up is going to be berries, and these are going to be all of your berries. So strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, all them. Your cherries, peaches, apricots, watermelons, well, all melons, tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, bell peppers, green beans, lemons, plums, and nectarines. Now, season availability may vary depending on your neck of the woods, so just make sure you pop into your farmer's market or look at your grocery sales, like the store flyers, for the most accurate selection. Goodness, with all of these berries coming in, y'all know now is the time to can up all of your sauces, your jams, and your jellies. Y'all, it is not even a joke when I tell you I am canning all the blueberry pie filling I can.
If you've never canned anything before, making blueberry pie filling is a great recipe to try. Let me show you how easy this recipe comes together along with ideas on how to use it. Start with firm, ripe berries, rinse them well, and remove any stems. Next, bring a few quarts of water to a boil on the stove and blanch the berries for 30 seconds to a minute or until they're heated through. I often do this in batches. Remove the berries with a slotted spoon or a colander like I am and set the blueberry water aside. I'm going to show you how to use it in a bit because there's lots of flavor in it. Next, combine easy gel and sugar in a large enough pot to hold the fruit comfortably, then pour in your lemon juice. I just love the combination of lemon blueberry, so I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon zest, but if you want things to taste more savory as opposed to bright, adding cinnamon and nutmeg are excellent options too. Your mixture is ready when it begins to bubble, fully dissolves, and thickens slightly. Okay, so I should have used a bowl, not a colander, to avoid a small mess, but transfer your berries to the pan, remove from heat, and slowly stir to fold in your warm blueberries. The full recipe is on my blog, becomingafarmgirl.com, but y'all, all of the cooking is done. So let's put this deliciousness in jars. I love that this is a shelf-stable recipe because since I'm in a townhome with limited freezer space, I don't feel restricted by refrigeration when I want to stock up on fruits that I enjoy. While this is a pie filling, I'll be using it as a yogurt mix, ice cream and pancake topping, drizzle it on homemade parfaits, stuffed into breakfast pastries, and so much more. There aren't artificial preservatives, and the flavor has been curated exactly to my liking. You just can't get this at a store. Now, this recipe will stay at best quality for 3 years, so making this recipe when berries are at their rock bottom price during the summer just makes sense to me. While we process the jars in a boiling water bath for 30 minutes, let's get back to the blueberry water. I'm going to show you how to make blueberry basil tea, which is simply incredible if you haven't had it yet. I headed out to my garden where I have boxwood basil growing. It has the traditional flavor and aroma of regular basil, which I also grow, but in a compact ornamental size. Add several sprigs of basil to a glass. Pour in about a quarter amount of your blueberry water and then add some freshly brewed iced tea. At a tea or coffee shop, this beverage will cost you at least several dollars, but in your kitchen, it's just a few cents. Plus, few things beat sitting out on the front porch and enjoying some ice-cold tea. I'm going to save my remaining blueberry water in a container and stick it in the fridge, but you can also place it in the freezer if you want to keep it longer. All right, y'all, 30 minutes is up and our jars are ready to remove from the pot and place on a towel to cool. You'll likely have some filling that doesn't quite give you enough to fill one of your jars, so what I did is tuck it in the fridge, and the next morning I made a blueberry cream cheese filling spread. Sure, you can buy this at the store, but do you actually see real fruit like this in that cream cheese? Lemon blueberry cream cheese spread across a buttered bagel alongside a cup of coffee is certainly the way to have a good morning.
And of course, nothing beats homemade strawberry sauce.
This recipe is pretty much the same as the last, except you've got to start by cutting off the tops and hulling your strawberries. To hull a strawberry, you can use a knife, but I like using this grapefruit spoon. And what you do is cut in a circular motion around the green leafy top of the strawberry and into the pale flesh directly underneath, removing as little of the berry as possible. Collect these parts in a small bowl because, yep, we're going to use them later. Alright, then you're going to blanch your strawberries for several minutes to soften them up. This process will fade the red color, but the taste and the texture remain unchanged. Some folks add red food coloring, but you don't need to. And oh, if you're wondering why I use Easy Gel instead of Clear Gel as my thickening agent, it's because it's non-GMO and gluten-free. Other thickening agents like cornstarch clump when canning, which is why gels are used for most canning recipes. This recipe is also on my blog. It's salad season, so let's make some strawberry infused vinegar. Just pour white wine vinegar over your tops, submerge with a weight, and close with a lid. Rest at room temperature for at least 2 days and up to 10, then strain it into a clean bottle and use it the same as you would regular vinegar. Vinegar is a preservative, which means a batch of strawberry top vinegar will last you a long time.
If this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Cassandra from the blog becomingaafarmgirl.com. I'm here to help you start canning and kitchen gardening in a small space and in your spare time.
Like I said, zucchini is in season, so let me show you an easy peasy meal your family will love. Zucchini taco boats. Start with any ground meat you prefer. This is ground turkey I made at home from Thanksgiving turkey meat I found on sale. Season your meat with taco seasoning, then slice and grill your zucchini in a cast iron skillet over medium heat. Once your zucchini is softened, haul out a portion of the middle and toss it back in the pan with your cooked meat. Don't waste it. Plus, once we add all the toppings, your family won't even see it. Next, fill the centers with your seasoned meat. I picked some cherry tomatoes and cilantro from my garden, sprinkled with a bit of cheese, and added a dollop of leftover homemade dill sauce I made with homemade sour cream and fresh dill. When you want to feel full without the heaviness, this is a go-to quick cooking meal.
Alright y'all, so did you know that National Iced Tea Day is June 10th? So this month you're going to see lots of sales on tea products. So this includes the bags, mixes, and pre-made. But as you're stocking up, just keep in mind that loose leaf and powdered tea mixes last 6 months to a year in the pantry. But you can extend that if you tuck them into the freezer where they'll keep for a year or two. And your prepared tea will last 3 to 5 days in the fridge or 6 to 8 months if put in the freezer. As if June could get any better, it is also National Dairy Month. So you can expect to see sales on products like milk, cheese, butter, cream cheese, and whipped cream all month long. And if you really want to stretch your budget, reach for the bulk packages. For instance, buy bulk cheese and then just shred it up yourself. And opt for the bigger container of yogurt versus the individual cups. Of course, always calculate the price per ounce to make sure that you're paying the lowest price possible, but always remind yourself that you can break things down once you get home. And if you do that, you will save significantly more and have more product by doing the work yourself. June is also National Migraine and Headache Awareness Month. So now's the time to buy a few pain relief medicines if you need them. If you buy the generic store brand, you'll save even more, usually paying 20 to 50% less. So if you are gonna buy generic, just remember that Tylenol is acetaminophen and Advil and Motrin are the same thing, ibuprofen. Benadryl is diphenhydramine and Zyrtec is cetirizine.
I thrifted this cosmetic bag for $6 and I use it as my portable pharmacy. I like it because it has several compartments and will be a better solution to what I previously been using, which was a basket where I just dumped everything and then I rummaged through it. Because I don't use this stuff often, it stays in a closet upstairs. We mainly prefer to use homemade fire cider and a handful of tinctures and salves as our first go-tos. Nonetheless, these are my backups, and before I purchased anything this month, I wanted to take inventory of what I had, so getting organized was a must. I grouped like items in categories and got rid of bulky packaging. Now I can clearly see what I have. Again, it's not much, but maybe a portable pharmacy similar to this might work for you too. I've also seen folks repurpose a fishing tackle box if you've got a larger inventory of supplies.
And this month is also a great time to stock up on some of your first aid supplies like bandages, ointments, gauze pads, and other emergency essentials, since the summertime is a time where you see more bites, cuts, scratches, and bruises. The first day of summer is also later this month, and that means that grocery stores want to move their inventory of ice cream, popsicles, and frozen yogurt. So this month and next, stock up on enough to last you through the summer. But if you're going to do that, just make sure to stock your popsicles and your ice cream near the back of the freezer where they're exposed to less air and temperature fluctuations, because that's what can cause freezer burn. Since we're talking sweets, I'll confess that I keep a sweet tooth box for the summer. Look, enjoying s'mores out back or sitting on the front porch rocking chair with a bowl of ice cream is a simple way to savor the summer. Plus, at least in my neck of the woods, going out for ice cream like we did growing up is not something you can do with just pocket money anymore. I was shocked last year when I saw that the price of a single medium ice cream cone, one flavor, no toppings, no nothing, not even a waffle cone, was $9. Yeah, no thanks, I'll pass. That price is just astronomical. I mean, how does even a small family just go out for ice cream and afford it?
For less than $10, I've got an arsenal of goodies at the ready for company, kids, or when a craving strikes. This box is filled with marshmallows for roasting, funnel cake mix that I like to use when cooking with little ones, waffle cones that average out to 20 cents per cone, and graham crackers for s'mores. Remember last month when I bought clearance chocolate from the Easter markdown sales? I found bags of milk chocolate for $1, Russell Stover was 50% off, and I even picked up a container of chocolate for $1 that was regularly priced at $6. What I do with this chocolate is unwrap it and melt everything down so that I can create my own chocolate bars for s'mores or chocolate pieces for ice cream and other summertime desserts. It's cheaper than buying candy bars and it doesn't take much time. I stick my melted chocolate in the freezer and pop them out as needed.
All right, y'all, so the fun is not over because June is also National Smoothie Day, which is on the first day of summer. So you're gonna have places like Jamba Juice, Smoothie King, and Tropical Smoothie Cafe. They always have some type of like BOGO buy one get one deal, or they have like reduced price offerings. So if that's your thing, you want to take advantage of that. So we also have Father's Day coming up. So this is the time of year where you're going to see deals on men's grooming and hygiene products for dear old dad. But if you have any man in your life, son, nephew, husband, brother, go ahead and take advantage of the sales for them too. And then just tuck it away and you'll have something for them when it's, you know, Christmas or birthday or some other celebration. Y'all know that I love sending snail mail to a few of my friends and family. And a way that I keep that cost pretty much to nothing is I will buy cards after that particular holiday where I can get them dirt cheap. Y'all, I just scored several Mother's Day cards and these were 14 cents. Now, I know you might be asking, you know, Cass, your Mother's Day is only, you know, one day out of the year. But one of the things that my Nana used to do, my mom does, is we will get cards just because of maybe there's like a poem in there that's really gorgeous, or, you know, a scripture, or just words of encouragement. And even if it was directed maybe with the actual name to someone else, we'll just literally sometimes scratch it out and like put the person's name, because it's more of the thought and the gesture, and then just having something tangible when you open up and hold that card that's what you want to convey. And so I will have no problem just sending some of these cards to my mom, to other women in my life throughout the year, just because. So this one card says, it's kind of cheesy, but I love it. Not a daisy goes by where I am not grateful for you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. I mean, every day is Mother's Day. Y'all know this. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this in my May pocket for next year. And y'all, I'm good to go. Oh, also check out the Dollar Tree because I found these two cards at the Dollar Tree. And then this one here. Doesn't that look gorgeous? And this card. Yeah, and these are 20 cents. So yeah, just poke around anywhere. Y'all, this month, I want you to keep your eyes peeled for meat sales. Yes, because grocery stores are shelling out more meat for the summer cookout and grilling season, but this also means that there's more inventory that they're going to be reducing in price for quick sale. So here's what I've noticed over the past couple of years that I've been a canner, and it's really that June and July are the best times to stock up and can your meat. And so here's how I do it. On my way home from work at this grocery store that's a little bit closer to where I work at, there's a grocery store that is not out of my way at all. So I will pop in there once or twice a week. I'll just get out of my car and walk directly to the meat section and then the dairy cases. But by doing this, I am almost always able to find a package or two of chicken or stew meat or whatever. Do I find something every single time I pop in? No. But I do regularly enough that popping in 1 to 2 times a week is worth it.
Let me show you what I mean. This month, I found turkey sausage patties marked down to $1.50, which are regularly priced at $3.39, so I grabbed a few. Another day, I found ground sausage regularly priced at $5.49, reduced to $2.74. The week before last, I found beef that sells at $7.99 a pound, marked down to $2.99 a pound. I caught a one-day sale on bacon for $1.99 a pack, reduced from $3.29 a pack. But I struck gold when I found chicken breasts marked down to $2 a bag. And leftover Easter hams went down from $2.29 a pound to 99 cents a pound, making an almost $18 ham just $7.60. On this day, I struck meat gold and grabbed a cart because the price per pound was under $2 for beef and ham. I also found 10 hamburgers, already at a decent price of $10 for the pack, marked down to $5 at Aldi.
You've also got to make a note of what stores mark down what and when. So there's a different grocery store that's closer to where I live that I don't go to all of the time, but I know that their markdowns are in the mornings, usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so it is absolutely worth it for me to get up a bit early on those days, pop into the grocery store, come back, drop off, the meat, and then head into work. By doing this, I am seriously packing protein in my pantry. So then I just come home, I pressure can it, it's a small batch, but let me tell you, doing this once a week where I end up with 4 to 5 quart or pint-sized jars really starts to add up over the course of a month.
When I get home either after dinner or later on, I'll can my bargains. All right, y'all, so it is like 3:57, almost 4 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes several days out of the week, sorry, I have my little kettle going, I'm gonna make some tea, but I'll just be in bed and my eyes will pop open, and instead of laying in bed, I'll just get up and maybe do some laundry or some reading or even a small canning project like this. And I always have my little booba. I just bring his bed right in the kitchen, and he keeps me company. But all right, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead. I ended up with, how many did I count? I think it was 12 or 14 of these chicken breasts. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I have a couple of jars here, can those up, and then move on to something else. While you need a pressure canner for meat, taking clearance meat and preserving it for up to several years on your shelf couldn't be easier. You literally just cut it up into uniform pieces, dump the meat into jars, place lids and rings on top, and place it in a canner for 90 minutes. Now, the chicken breast I just canned already had Italian spices on them, but do y'all remember the chicken spaghetti recipe I showed you how to make a while back? I'll link that video, but essentially I took plain chicken breast and create a delicious sauce with Italian-leaning herbs and spices. The seasoned chicken breast that I just canned will be perfect for this recipe.
Come this winter, I'll have a decent selection of meats for soups, stews, and casseroles. Now, no, it is not all organic meat, which I would love for it to be, but I am scaling in that direction little by little, and I'm always going to advocate that you do what's best for your budget. So where I am now is it's maybe almost a quarter of the fresh meat that we eat is from a local farm, and that's the same place that I get my raw milk from. Now, circling back to the grocery pop-ins, in order for this to be successful, you must have some restraint. My real grocery day is Wednesday, and that's when I go to the grocery store with my list. With a grocery store pop-in, you've got to be committed to sticking to the route. Time yourself. And what I mean by that is that you are only going in to check out the meat section, maybe also the dairy, and then get out. This is not the time where you're thinking, oh, maybe I have a taste for this, or I want to add this to the menu. No, after I do my regular Wednesday shopping, there's nothing else that I am buying unless it is a, clearance or a markdown item when I do these grocery pop-ins. I just thought that I would pass that on because it is making such a difference in my pantry. And the thing is that maybe on some weeks where I don't have enough to can it, I'll just move it to the freezer, if I'm not gonna, can it that evening, I will just move it to the freezer, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, pull out my several packages of meat and then can it up, put it on the shelf. And when I look at my meat selection, and this isn't even counting, what's in the downstairs freezer, and then back here, it feels good, y'all. It feels good. So that's what's so empowering about canning, right? Because others, unless you have this skill, which again, it's timeless, it's safe, as long as you're following a tested recipe and doing things the proper way. But I mean, being able to build your pantry in this way certainly isn't something that's mainstream, but y'all, actually, I have so many cans of food here beside me right now. The fact that I have, this delicious chicken that's right here. And then this is the chicken Italian blend that's here. All of these are discounted meats, y'all, that I am getting just at a reduced price. And you can too.
So this summer, hang around the meat section a bit more and you'll likely find similar deals. Remember, a little bit over time adds up and it keeps your canning session short when you're not doing a lot all at once. Learning to preserve your food is the most empowering and cost-effective saving skill there is. Oh, unless you're buying your lids at a store, which can be tricky, there are a lot of fraudulent online canning companies, especially on Amazon. That's why I only order online from 4 Jars Canning Company. You can take 10% off of your order and get free shipping by using my code FARMGIRL10.
Y'all, between the kitchen and the garden, June is a very busy month for us gardeners and food preservers. This past spring, the temperatures were so cool and the rain was so consistent that my GreenStalks are just showing off.
With the leftover corn from the ham and corn soup I canned last month, I headed out to the garden to collect some lettuce and tomatoes to cook hamburgers with the clearance meat that I just found. I'm not even buying salad anything because I'm growing it. Shopping seasonally, canning reduced priced meats, and keeping a garden really keep a budget in check. Yes, there's marginal upfront cost, but then you have everything you need to reduce your reliance on the store or take advantage of sales in ways that others plumb can't. Every time I make hamburgers, my husband says there's nothing like a homemade cheeseburger. Given that the lettuce and the tomatoes were homegrown and the mayo is homemade, I think he's onto something. Speaking of my garden, earlier this month I showed 6 delicious meals I regularly make relying exclusively on my GreenStalk vertical planters, which allow anyone to grow over 30 plants in under 2 square feet. June and July are the best months to enjoy harvesting tomatoes and basil for homemade bruschetta, a satisfying classic Italian appetizer that celebrates the taste of the season. You just toast slices of crusty bread and then combine tomatoes and basil seasoned with a bit of salt and pepper. And then you add enough garlic to your liking and then toss in some chopped fresh mozzarella and spread it over the toast. Transfer to the oven to melt the cheese topping, and whoa, get ready for a flavor overload on your tongue. These are our favorite summer sandwiches. Last month, when I found pie crust for 99 cents, I stocked up because y'all know I love making my leftover breakfast quiche. I canned quite a bit of ham and bean and ham and corn soup, but I had some leftovers that I figured we'd just go ahead and eat up now. So I headed to the garden to gather all sorts of greens to make a ham and mixed green quiche. If you're interested in a GreenStalk planter, you can use my code BeAFarmGirl to take $10 off your order. Nuts, this is just one harvest from the garden. These are the greens I'm going to pack into my quiche. I included chard, carrot tops, spring onions, curly parsley, marjoram, arugula, kale, thyme, and spinach. Now, can you imagine what I'd be paying at the market for that combination? Plus, I'd only have a few days to use it before it starts to spoil. But since I grow it, I don't have to worry about that. I've had my spring garden for nearly 8 weeks, most of which is cut and come again, so we're literally forced, in a good way, to sneak in greens into everything. All right, here's that last bit of leftover ham. And y'all, we enjoy this quiche for both breakfast and dinner. And truly, this pie freezes so well. After you mix everything up and stick it in the oven, what comes out is a delicious dish that incorporates my southern root side and a flaky pie crust that's a complete meal. Nearly every ingredient in this quiche was grown or bought at pennies on the dollar, proving that eating good doesn't have to break the bank.
So I think maybe 3 years ago, actually now going on 4, I pivoted from buying fertilizers to making my own, which is a decision that is saving me so much money, even for a small garden.
Did you know expensive fertilizer amendments like bone meal can be made at home for free? I save my ham, beef, and chicken bones, and then I pressure cook them for a few hours, which makes them so tender you can cut them with regular scissors. Take a look. Toss the bones into a blender and you've got bone meal, which is a great source of phosphorus in your soil. In a similar way, I save the head, tail, and bones from the fish we eat to make fish meal fertilizer. I also make an all-purpose NPK fertilizer known as Jadam liquid fertilizer using leaf mold and grass clippings. If you missed it, check out the video where I show you how to make all the fertilizers you're likely buying. Kitchen scraps and yard waste are garden gold.
Let me tell you one of the best tips that you have got to do this summer. Well, really, it works all year. You need to keep a cooler in your vehicle at all times.
I'm talking about a regular cooler, nothing fancy. During the summer, we tend to enjoy parks and weekend day trips, and being able to stay out all day without buying food means we don't waste time in lines or spend a small fortune on a meal. We like to take our own filtered water. I usually pack a salad from the garden in our reusable containers, and then I'll pack and freeze a sandwich or sandwiches the night before, and it will just naturally unthaw while we're out and about. And no, your bread won't get soggy even if you use condiments like mayo, peanut butter, or jelly. Y'all, doing this will save you so much money this summer season. Oh, several of y'all have been asking about the tomatoes I'm growing in my GreenStalk. It's a cocktail variety, meaning that it stays short but will fruit all spring and summer long. I grew this last year and I loved them. Look, I'm not a gardening expert, but I wanted to show you how all I do is repot it in one of my GreenStalk pockets, adding some, worm castings and eggshells to give it a good start. GreenStalks truly maximize what you can grow. And y'all, this is just in one planter pocket. The majority of what you grow doesn't need several inches of root space, which is why I love a GreenStalk. I have several videos here on my channel if you want to take a closer look.
I love flowers and I grow them in my GreenStalks. They're pretty much interplanted, but it's still not, I still prioritize like growing food out in my garden. But one of the ways that I have started to realize that I can enjoy flowers year long is by drying them.
I recently thrifted the book, An English Country Lady's Book of Dried Flowers, purely because I was mesmerized by the beauty of the arrangements, and this will be a coffee table book I'll reach for to unwind with in the evenings with a cup of tea. I mean, aren't these dried florals just stunning? About once a month, I allow myself to buy a $4 bouquet at Aldi, but as they dry, I'm going to start saving them to build my own collection of dried flowers that I can keep out all year long. I thrifted a mounted vase a few weeks ago, and I can see myself getting a few more of these to display my florals around the house. I was recently gifted this appreciation bouquet, and I know that it is going to be stunning once fully dried. I think this spot on our bar cart is perfect for it.
Now, I know dried flowers aren't everyone's thing, and I could see my brother or even my dad coming over to the house and being blunt but sincere and asking, Cass, why are you keeping those dead flowers in that vase? But to me, and I don't exactly have the words to explain it right now, but there's a difference between dead and dried flowers. There is this beauty, this moment in time that doesn't change after a flower has fully dried, and it's always captivated me. I've shared before that, over 20 years ago, when my grandma passed, my dad's mom, I just felt compelled to take a few of the roses from one of the arrangements, and I still have those roses to this day hanging beside some quilts that she made for me. And just a couple of years ago when Nana passed, I did the same thing. When my husband was stationed in the UK and I went to visit him, I remember that we stayed in this little cottage, and in front of it was a garden that was planted with lavender, and I loved it. It takes me back. I can just close my eyes and still feel as if I'm there. And I remember cutting a few of the lavender flowers, and I still have those hanging from my corner carryo in the living room. There's even a bouquet that I got from Aldi almost 3 years ago now,
And when they had dried on me, instead of tossing them, when I picked them up in my hands, I remember looking at them thinking, wow, this is striking. And I didn't throw them away. I just repurposed them. I put them in a bottle that's beside my nightstand, and I enjoy them so much. I think the colors kind of play off of the curtains. I have this antique oil lamp that's beside it and this rustic kind of looking lamp. And I just love the kind of trio look that's there. And so when I was going through this book, y'all, I love what the author says, and I just want to take a moment to read it to you. And she says, so if you're kind of like getting into dried flowers, and maybe that's something that you want to explore, she says, you don't need exotic flowers or homegrown roses or herbs to make something look eye-catching. Very true. You don't have to spend hours making moss garlands and wiring up bunches. Thank goodness, because I'm not ready for all that. But with just a little style sense, which I do have, you can take a handful of grasses, drop them into a jug, and have an almost instant arrangement to be proud of. That's so true. She is spot on. She goes on to say, naturally, I like to encourage everyone to be more adventurous and to use dried flowers in new and imaginative ways, but I also recognize the attraction of sheer simplicity. So here are my 3 rules for absolute no-nonsense dried flower arrangements with just a little bit of class. And so I imagine myself just over the next, let me be honest, maybe a year or so, this is just gonna stay right on my little like ottoman over there in the living room, just to take a page, soak it in, and then as I come across flowers that are like, I think it would be awesome to take the dried flowers that I'm even growing in my garden and just to have them from one season to the next after the garden is no longer kind of thriving and colorful like it is in the spring and summer. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, that as you start to see, you know, little nooks and crannies in my home, that you're not like, Cass, those flowers are like, they're dead, girl. No, they are dried and they are giving me so much happiness. I don't even know how to segment into this other than it's the reason that this month's pantry chat is a week late. But last Sunday when I woke up, I had the plan of just going to church, coming back, finishing the video to publish it later on that evening or Monday. But every morning I get up and I let Thor, our French bulldog, out the back door and downstairs to the downstairs basement door. And I saw this little puddle near our freezer, which is just to the right of the door. And I didn't hear the freezer sound that's normally on. And so I didn't immediately panic, but when I looked and saw that the freezer was still plugged in and then I opened it up, I said, oh my goodness, like, please don't tell me my freezer went kaput. The crazy thing is that I bought this freezer. It was the first purchase I made when we moved from our apartment into our townhouse. And I was just so excited that I would finally be able to have my own freezer. I thrifted it for 75 bucks, and at that time Trey and I didn't even have like a truck, and we were able to fit this freezer in the back of my Toyota Corolla. And so anyways, my heart just fell, but I didn't immediately panic. The thing that I was thinking about was, okay, let me first make sure that the freezer is actually broken. So we have a lamp that's downstairs, and I moved it. The electrical outlets were still working. I looked behind it just to make sure nothing had like fallen down there or whatever else. And so I said, goodness, let me go ahead and get ready to go upstairs and tell my husband that our freezer's broken. So I tell Trey, hey babe, I think the freezer's broken. So he comes downstairs and he does pretty much the same thing that I just did. He looks at the outlets and then fiddles with some things behind the freezer. And oh my goodness, look y'all. I love my husband. I ain't talking about him, but I'm getting ready to talk about him. The first thing out of his mouth was, well, you know, it's probably because you overstuffed the freezer. And luckily I was able to say no, like I haven't, because y'all saw almost 2 months ago, I cleared that freezer out. And the reason why, well, I didn't clear it out, but like I organized a lot of it and just made like extra room for things. And so pretty much we just had like our freezer meals that were in there. Anyways, I cleaned everything out. I defrosted it and I was like, oh no, sir, that is not it at all. Like this freezer wasn't even at like maybe 50% like capacity. I had really gotten rid of a lot of stuff because I do want to make room for different things that I'm going to be freezing this summer. So I was like, whew, so glad I did that. But then after that, it was okay, you know, let's go and see and start to price some of these freezers.
And y'all, we have this kind of small upright freezer, but the equivalent of that, the prices are like $700 and up. So you know what I immediately did? I got on Facebook Marketplace, and usually I thrift so many things, but usually I'm thrifting something before I actually need it. So I was just worried that, would I be able to find something? I still wanted an upright freezer. I have really enjoyed having one of those. And then it also needed to be at the right price, distance, that kind of thing. And I wasn't able to find one that first day. Now on the fridge door, I lost pretty much what I had stored there. So I lost the eggs that I had on the fridge door, a couple packages of chicken and meat that I had right there on the freezer door that I was planning to can anyways. It's some of my reduced clearance meat. And then I had a couple of like canisters of orange juice, the frozen orange juice, but I just went ahead and made that. So here's what I did with that food so I wouldn't lose it.
Y'all, I lost my individually frozen eggs. Well, they defrosted, but they were still cold, so I immediately decided to make a quiche. And I'm so glad that I didn't have to run out to the grocery store to get any ingredients, because all I did was just step outside to the garden and I grabbed some greens. I have tons of spinach that is growing and needed to be harvested. So once inside, I just made a spinach veggie filled quiche by adding some milk and shredded cheese and sauteed onions, and it came out so good. I also canned 3 small packages of clearance meat that I had on the side door. I had to top one of my jars with a few chicken pieces, but other than this, I didn't lose anything. So after church, this was the weekend that my husband had planned to power wash the siding and the deck. And so I told him that while he was doing that, I would take a look at several scratch and dent places. And not only are a lot of them not closed or not open on Sunday, but they didn't have, the ones that were open did not have the size stand-up freezer that I needed. And so I was really just, I really wanted to avoid, if I could at all costs, paying full price for a freezer. And so to buy myself a little bit of time, I did get 1 block of dry ice and I put it in the freezer. And I started communicating with all of these people on Facebook Marketplace just to kind of, see what was out there. And I did find 1 freezer. My husband wanted me to stick with like the GE brand. And she said, the seller got back to me and she said, there's 1 person ahead of you, but if I don't hear from them, then it's yours. And so I was just praying. I was like, Lord, please. Suffice it to say though, y'all, it worked out. I ended up being able to get that freezer. All right, y'all, so I just picked up the freezer outside of Rockville. And this freezer is actually, it's bigger than the current freezer that I have, so I'm excited. And she kept it in excellent condition. She even gave me some like defrosting mats for it. I am doing a snail's like pace here on 495. As usual, what's new? I think things are starting to pick up, but I am so relieved that I found this freezer for that price. I am telling y'all, I don't know where I would be without Facebook Marketplace. For $200. And the woman had actually gotten the exact same freezer, except now she was getting one. When I always like to ask people like, why are you getting rid of this? Like that kind of thing. And she said it's because she now has a freezer that defrosts automatically. She just got kind of like tired of doing, the defrosting thing, every couple of months. And I mean, I get it, right? But for $200, oh my gosh, for $200, y'all, this freezer is taller and deeper than the freezer that I previously had. And when I took the food that I had in my old freezer and then put it in my new freezer, I couldn't believe, I was like, oh my gosh, it looks like I don't have any food in here. Of course now, like my family's like, don't fill it, don't stuff it. And I'm like, y'all, relax. I'm getting all kind of like little hint on them like, oh, okay. So like when I'm out here and I'm finding these bargains and whatever else, and when we're at the dinner table and you're like, oh, do you have any more of that? I'm gonna be like, I didn't want to overpack the freezer. Now my husband had to fly out to A school, but he's back tomorrow morning. And I know that when he sees the size of our new freezer, he's gonna be like, really, Cassandra? But seriously, I had to go with what was available on the market. I wasn't intentionally looking to like,
upgrade, at all. But, hey, it kind of worked out. Oh, y'all, this is also super crazy. So in the midst of like trying to find the freezer, negotiating with the Facebook Marketplace, going to work, my mom is now back in town for a week because we have some other family members that we're just trying to catch for another get together that we're having. And oh my goodness, take a look at her reaction when she saw the freezer. It's as tall as you. It really is.
Do not overload it. Do not overload it.
I'm not. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Do not overload these doors either.
I didn't overload the other doors.
You said not better. You're right.
Thank you. Just getting in the house, and the first question asked, what can I take back? Oh my gosh.
Okay.
After you just got on me about my freezer. The crazy thing is that my family would get on my Nana the same way. And now that she's not here, I don't have anyone to be like, can you believe this grief? My freezer generally is full. It was also a smaller freezer, but there still is airflow. And I do regularly go in there. I walk by it every day. Speaking of, there have been a couple comments because I felt so bad, y'all. I do most of my filming and editing on the weekend because the work week is just, like I'm just getting off of work now. There's no time during my work week. But a couple of y'all were telling me that I could get like a timer and an alarm on my freezer. I was like, wait, what? Like even on like a non-fancy fridge or freezer, because it's still like a basic freezer, right? This isn't like the electronic tech ones or something like that. So I'm gonna look, I'm gonna read through some more of the comments on that and then go on Amazon and definitely get one. I don't wanna be in the situation where maybe I missed it, right? Or maybe I was out of town or something or whatever else. I definitely could see where having the alarm and the temperature read that you are talking about is something I need to do. Thank you. I'm on here just showing you my actual life, and I love how when you all just see me doing things that I'm just sharing as I naturally do, that a lot of y'all will either be like, oh, that's a great idea, Cassandra, or you guys will be like, hey, like, have you considered this or try this? And it's so nice. I just love it. I appreciate that kind of stuff so much. Yeah, but anyways, now I have this unexpected freezer that I got for $200. You can't beat that price. In excellent condition. And I'm so glad that really most of the panic came from, am I going to be able to find a freezer like secondhand versus, oh my goodness, like I'm about to lose like all of my meat, because essentially all I had in there was some meats and vegetables, and worst case scenario, it's not like I lost electricity. I was just gonna can everything, and it would have been fine. I wasn't worried about losing any of my food. And I just think about people that are inevitably your freezer is going to break on you at the most inconvenient time, all the time. But being able, there's so many people that are not canning, that haven't tried it, and I've already shared how much this means to me, how practical it is, how economical it is, delicious, how you can curate your own foods. But then also in instances like this, you don't have to worry, right? I wasn't going to lose any of my food, and that's just peace of mind that you really can't buy. So, oh yeah, this week was kind of stressful, y'all. Y'all know I love to share my thrift finds, and this month I didn't do so bad.
Can you believe I found this picnic wine tote for $8? My husband and I love enjoying our county's free summer concerts out on the lawn, or a picnic at the park or off walking trails, and this will be fun to take sometimes. It was brand new and comes with everything you need to enjoy a glass of wine for two. I also found some reusable bags, which y'all know I've been building my collection of for $1 each. They were in good condition, so all I needed to do was take them home and give them a good wash and rinse. Anything I can do to reduce my reliance on disposables is a win. Remember those cute weck jars I used for the blueberry water? Yep, I got those at the thrift store too. I cannot believe I found this secondhand. Are you ready for this?
Well, you're not.
This is stunning. Look at this.
I like that.
I knew you would. Isn't this dress just stunning?
Yeah.
It's like a classic cut and style. It was waiting for me, Mom. I'm like, what?
I think it was.
Mom, look at the brand. Brooks Brothers.
Mm.
Girl. Oh my gosh, that is a pricey brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the store, I've only seen it in a few like higher end malls, and then at the airport where you're like, man, I can't even afford anything on like the clearance rack, nor would I want to. They had two price tags, right? One was $19.99, one was $16.99. They gave it to me for the lowest price. But like, I just loved it. I was just looking, you know, with my dresses and clothes, I'm like, can I fold it if I need to travel with it? Is it actually comfortable?
Right.
And I think this could really be all year long, Mom. It has a nice little,
Split.
yeah.
Not
but it
too
actually,
high.
exactly, yeah. I'm not doing that.
Wow.
But isn't that so nice?
Yes.
And then look what I also found. This is by, it's linen. I know, I don't have any jean like linen. This is by Eddie Bauer.
Okay.
Look, there's embroidery that's here, these gorgeous buttons there. I found this shirt and I'm like, oh, my mom needs this. It's Ann Taylor, $6.99. I especially love
like
these
the
sleeves.
I
Yes.
do too. I do too. Yes. This makes it unique.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
it does. See, I thrift for the whole family.
If you've missed any of the pantry chats, click the video on your screen. I'll see you in my kitchen or garden soon. Take care, friends.